Freeze for a second. Just freeze for a second. Go ahead. Slate.
Slating. Scene 49, shot 1A, take 1.
Go for it.
Well, what's nice about shooting at the pace that we were shooting at is that there's not a lot of downtime, so that helps, and that helps keep the momentum going. And I think Meryl Streep said recently that she really missed working on independent films because these big studio films have all the time in the world and they end up shooting like one scene in an entire day. So I think that's what makes this kind of filmmaking exciting.
Working alongside Graham was amazing because he's the writer, he's the director, and he's the DP. So he's filling three very complex roles that usually you want to have at least a separate director and a DP so that they can kind of communicate with each other. But I mean, we made it work, and it was really amazing being there and seeing his thought process as both the writer and the director. I mean, really like tapping into like seeing the edit happen while we were on set and placing everything together in his head. And that was probably the most inspirational part, just knowing that there's such a solid vision that you can almost let everyone around you do their own thing and trust your crew. And you know that they know the story, and you know the story better than anyone, and you're able to focus on visuals as well as focus on directing actors and getting the performance out of them that you need. But I mean, working on camera was, I mean, really fun because I'm constantly like looking over Graham's shoulder and making sure there's no lights in the scene, making sure everything looks as good as it possibly can. And also trying to watch audio levels and boom and anything else. That he's so focused on the actors and their performance that I really wanted to get the technical down as perfectly as we could, so that I'm more worried about that, and he's left to be on the story side and directing, and really able to take as much time as he needs with the actors to get their performances right.
Left, far left. Black backpack in second to the smallest pocket. In the front, there's a black eye case.
Well, the pace on set was very fast. You didn't have a lot of time between scenes. You finished a scene and you went quickly to another one, which really forces you to be prepared before you ever get to set. You didn't have time to learn lines on set, which, God forbid if that's what people are doing anyway. But that was not an option. You forced yourself to come in prepared, to do the work beforehand. And yeah, I think that is a challenge in certain aspects of it. It also, it allows an actor to stay emotionally connected to the work. There's not a lot of time that's lapsing. And of course, we didn't shoot chronologically all the time, but there were scenes where one would quickly follow the next, and so you're carrying that emotional, that whatever the emotional toll that took on you. In that one scene, you're carrying it with you to the next. And there were a lot of those scenes.
Quiet, please! And action! Sir! What?
It felt like a race, sometimes like a sprint, but you have to carry that through into what is actually a marathon. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So when she's doing that thing, you'll quietly take it off. And you can hold it if you want to take it off, if it's not worthy of the scarf.
He intrudes, if you like to put it that way, into the actor's space only when necessary. The rest he allows to be instinctive, and so there is a freedom of choice that enables one to be more organic in one's performance. I found in the past certain directors, usually the ones that are insecure, have to come put their two penneth, as we say in England. They have to suggest that which, if you're trying to be true to your deep feeling for the role, it can be very difficult to get back to that place that you were in, because it's like kicking a top. Someone's just knocked you, you know, and it takes up time. He never does that. His direction is concise, minimal, and the actors are trusted. But you have to get there to get cast in the role in the way that he knows he can do that. He's not a stupid man. No, he only casts people that he feels he can get things out of in the minimal time.
And those days really just zip by because you're able to get so much done, and you're constantly working and constantly thinking about the next shot and the next move and the next scene, and it was an incredible experience. I'm so happy this was my first feature, and just such an amazing crew to work with, just great people, and I mean, such a fun time and such a challenging film to make because of the pace and the subject matter and the emotional response that the actors have to give, and the emotional state that they have to get into for so many of these scenes.
If we were done with, or we're wrapping up with one shot, Nick already knew that we were going to another shot. Everyone else was kind of already on the next shot, and they were setting up that lighting there. So literally the actor and the camera kind of turn off for a second, and we all shuffle to the next piece. And we're moving again in 10 minutes. And that's an exhausting pace. An exhausting pace for any kind of film, but then when you're doing a piece like this where we're dealing with some emotion, especially the second half of this film, those are tiring days. They became pretty intense, and fairly, I'm guessing everyone was pretty exhausted by the time we got to the last quarter of the film. If you do a big film, a lot of times you'll feel like you sat around and waited, and made coffee, smoked cigarettes out in the back room or whatever, and so much waiting and very little actually work. That was not our problem here.